Hey everybody, and welcome to the weekly scopes from the 21st to the 27th of April. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's weekly scopes. If you've heard this before, you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic constellational astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic constellation astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes, and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs, the Western signs, shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year, and Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox, adjusting for the shift in the position of the equinoxes over time. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So yeah, as I said, Western astrology uses specific dates, so every year, regardless of where the sun actually is at the sky, the sun moves into Pisces around the 19th of February. So yeah, this discrepancy, this misalignment between the tropical zodiac and the actual positions of the constellations has led to a discrepancy between Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So I consider the actual where the sun and the moon are and where Mars and Venus are at any given time, and this is how I formulate these sort of like weekly scopes. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, and let's dive into this week's weekly scope. Okay, so as always, I'm going to start with this week's main aspects that's going to affect us for the whole of this week. So first we've got Saturn making a semi-sextile to the moon's north node. That's exact on the 20th of April at 3:59 and leaves us around the 28th of April at 2:26 p.m. and Saturn is in Aquarius and the moon's north node is in Pisces. Venus also makes a parallel to the Moon's North Node, which is the same as a conjunction. This entered on the 16th of April, is exact at 3:33 p.m. on the 20th of April, and leaves us on the 24th of April. Jupiter makes a conjunction to Uranus. This entered on the 15th of April, is exact at 3:28 on the 21st of April, and leaves on the 26th of April. And Jupiter's in Aries and Uranus is also in Aries, so a nice synergy of energies working together there. Mercury also makes a parallel to the Moon's North Node, which is the same as a conjunction. This entered on the 17th of April, is exact at 6:44 p.m. on the 21st of April, and leaves on the 9th of May at 7:43. So that's going to be affecting us for the next couple of weeks. Venus also makes a contra-parallel to Saturn on the 22nd at 6:02 p.m. That's when that's exact, and it leaves us on the 26th of April. And Venus also makes a parallel to Chiron, and this entered on the 22nd of April and will leave on the 1st of May. Okay, so Saturn's semi-sextile to the Moon's North Node positively encourages us to take responsibility for our future growth and make practical choices that align with our long-term goals. It supports us being more resilient, patience, discipline, and having a strong work ethic. So a lot of energy last week was doing that. So as you can see, there's a lot of energies supporting transformation, whether you want to transform yourself on the emotional, psychological, spiritual, or financial or physical levels. It promotes us having strong sort of like willpower and work ethic, and negatively though, it can make us feel restricted and trigger feelings of us not being able to get what we want. But as always, Saturn's energy is always showing us that, you know, how much do you really want the things you say you want. You know, it wants us to push some through, get the help that we need, make a long-term plan, taking it step by step rather than rushing in, which is more like a Uranus Mercury energy. Venus's parallel to the Moon's North Node makes our relationships be able to work more in balance, and we'll be able to create a sort of like creative spiritual atmosphere in our relationships. If we're open to it, we can have an increased appreciation for beauty and love, and sharing romantic and sensual experiences with ourselves or our loved ones. It encourages us to embrace our emotional needs and desires, but we may overindulge in food, sex, alcohol, drugs, or anything else that gives us pleasure. So the key is balance here, and that's a balance between, you know, the things we enjoy, life's pleasures, and staying grounded in reality and meeting our day-to-day commitments as well. The best use of Saturn's semi-sextile to the Moon's North Node is to just try and be practical in your mindset and actions, make realistic plans and take actions towards your goals. It's an opportunity to build more stability into our lives and create a solid foundation for our future success. Venus's parallel to the Moon's North Node, the best use of this is to fully embrace our emotions and express them creatively in all that we do, nurture ourselves, our relationships, seek beauty in all areas of life, indulge in healthy self-care rather than toxic self-care, and follow our heart's desires. But remember, we have to find that crucial balance between pleasure and responsibility right now. Psychologically, Saturn's semi-sextile to the Moon's North Node may bring up feelings of self-doubt, insecurity, as it can be quite challenging because it wants us to confront our limiting beliefs and fears that are holding us back from going after our dreams, reaching our highest potential. It wants us this week to develop inner strength and, as I said, determination and resilience. And it reminds us, as I said, success is not achieved overnight, but through persistent effort and strategic planning. Some of us will get to where we need to go in 1 year, some 5, some 10, some 15. This is why astrology can help us know our life pattern, so we just can enjoy the journey rather than just overly focus on the destination. And sometimes when we do that, we don't even get to where we really want to get, because we're just focusing what we don't have rather than saying, okay, it's going to take me this amount of time, I'm just going to pick up all the skills I need and chill out a little bit. On the psychological level, Venus's parallel to the Moon's North Node wants us to increase our emotional, spiritual and psychological well-being, express ourselves with more authenticity, and it can just bring more joy and fulfillment into our life as we explore our passions and connect with others on a deeper level. On the karmic level, Saturn's semi-sextile to the Moon's North Node wants us to take responsibility for our own destiny and just to remember that our actions have consequences. It wants us to look at things that we need to resolve from our current or past lives that may impact our present circumstances. It's an opportunity to rectify past mistakes, make amends, seek forgiveness if necessary, and give others forgiveness if they come to you for it as well, and just to align our actions with our highest inner values and principles and what we truly believe in, because as we get older, sometimes we forget who we are. We live into social expectations and cultural expectations and stuff, so this energy is just helping us realign with our soul desires. And Venus's parallel to the Moon's North Node is wanting us to look at our past relationships and think about the lessons that we have or should learn from them, and it really wants us to realise that at times, even though some relationships are toxic and negatively, sometimes we attract the situations and people into our lives that can help us grow emotionally and spiritually. And because a lot of us, as we say in the Caribbean, are hard of hearing sort of thing, it just means that, we don't listen, so we have to sometimes learn the hard way. And this energy encourages us to trust our intuition and follow our heart desires, knowing that it's leading us towards greater happiness. Okay, and Jupiter's conjunction with Uranus, it supports this growth and expansion. It can give some of us unexpected luck and abundance. Negatively, it can make us feel more restless, and we may want more freedom, we may want things to change, we want to get out of our stagnant routines with this energy, and it supports us, letting go and moving on. But it can also make us feel psychologically, emotionally, financially or physically unstable if not managed wisely. So to make the best of this transit, we have to embrace being flexible, think outside the box and try and remain grounded. Mercury's parallel to the Moon's North Node allows us and supports us in growing spiritually and creatively. It can also increase our communication skills, and Mercury is about to come out of retrograde later on this week as well, so it can help us understand ourselves and others on a deeper level. It can also bring about moments of where we just feel like, this was meant to happen, coincidences and encounters that are meaningful and that align us with our life purpose. So for some of you may get a call about a job, or a friend may mention, or you may hear about a job, or an exercise plan, or just something coming out of the blue, and you may go for it and then it may change your life completely. Negatively, Mercury's parallel to the Moon's North Node can make us more emotional, and we can really, some of us may, especially those with strong North Node and Mercury energy, or third house energy or fourth house energy in their natal charts, so Cancer, Mercury, Gemini, the moon energy as well, may really place a lot of emphasis on communication this week as well. So to make the best of this, be open to communication and growing, even if it gets heated or you get bored of it and stuff. Embrace the power of conversation and create connections that resonate with your soul's journey. Venus's contra-parallel to Saturn supports us being practical this week, and especially in the ways that we express love and affection. And this can, support bringing peace into our relationships, but it can bring challenges in maintaining emotional stability and commitment. So, some of us may need to let go of a relationship, or we just may find it hard to deal with our emotions at this time. So the best use of this energy is to use it to support you in balancing both, romance and being responsible. Psychologically, it reminds us of the need for self-discipline and boundaries in matters of intimacy and the heart and all of that, and pushes us to face any underlying fears or insecurities in that we have about receiving and giving love and affection and stuff like that. And doing this will allow for personal growth in our relationships. Karmically, it wants us to look at relationship patterns, current or past, or lessons that need to be addressed to create healthier dynamics moving forward. So the key approach to this energy is to use self-awareness or build it, and have a willingness to work on any issues that come up right now. Venus's parallel to Chiron supports us in healing deeply and having a renewed sense of self-worth this week. It encourages us to embrace our responsibilities and learn from past wounds, and resolve them, and to have increased compassion for ourselves and others, and forgiveness, because a lot of time we don't forgive ourselves. We self-sabotage because we think we don't deserve good things and stuff. So just looking into ways that you self-neglect and self-sabotage and why you do it as well. Some of you can be triggered by feelings of rejection and feeling inadequate, not good enough and stuff like that. So the best use of Venus's parallel to Chiron is to use it to journal, seek therapy, meditate, or other things that can help you feel love and build your self-love and acceptance and forgiveness as well. It's a good energy for inner work, shadow work. If you don't know what they are, research them. Releasing emotional baggage that's holding you back from experiencing true love and joy in your life as well. Psychologically, it wants us to confront our fears head on, and it reminds us that through facing our pain we can ultimately find healing and create healthier dynamics in our relationships, especially the lifelong one we need to be having with ourselves. So just remember this week it's important to be gentle with yourself, practice self-compassion, look at the ways you self-neglect and sabotage and why, and normally it's because of deep-seated unresolved emotional, psychological and spiritual trauma that need to be acknowledged and processed, rather than escaping and into self-destructive habits. And I know it's hard because the more we are used to these habits, the more time it takes to break, but just remember it's a step-by-step process. It's not a time to judge yourself, but a time to nurture your inner self and offer love and understanding and forgiveness to yourself this week. So on the 21st of April, Jupiter, as I said, makes its exact conjunction with Uranus, Venus makes its exact conjunction with Chiron, and Mercury makes its exact parallel with the moon's north node. But as I said, these energies affect us all week. Mercury also makes a parallel to Venus, and the Sun also makes a square to Pluto as well. So the positive of Mercury's parallel to Venus and the Sun square to Pluto is that they support us in growing in self-awareness and gives us the opportunity for deep transformation, but negatively, they add to the communication struggles of the week and the power struggles as well, and the emotional intensity. So just be mindful of you and others' emotional needs right now, and just give grace instead of assert your boundaries, respect others, but just give grace if you feel others are overstepping your boundaries as well. The best use of this energy is to use it to self-reflect, consider your words, as I said, and actions before communicating and doing them, and to just use this energy to transform what needs to be transformed in your life. On the 22nd of April, Venus makes its exact contraparallel to Saturn. The moon's north node goes retrograde, and Venus makes a semi-sextile to Uranus. So the negatives of the moon's north node going retrograde is that it can just make us feel like we're stuck, or we may just experience obstacles in our attempts to growing personally or spiritually or emotionally or psychologically or even financially, and in learning our karmic lessons. So just be patient with yourself, be gentle, as I said earlier. It supports us in understanding our true purpose and ourselves and others on a deeper level, and it helps us be more open to alternative and spiritual practices that can help us solve our problems. Venus's semi-sextile to Uranus adds to the negatives that can happen this week and can cause, added, it's a doubling the chance of disruptions in our relationships and financial matters, but it can just bring us a new sense of life and make us feel more excited about our lives and gives us a chance for new experiences. The best use of this energy is to break away from conformity and tradition and be open to unconventional alternative ideas and ways of living, embrace change in both love and money matters as well, and to be open to new beliefs and perspectives, and just having that willingness to break free from traditional norms and the things that may be holding you back, and even your own comfort zones and stubborn behaviours and stuff like that. On the 23rd of April, the moon void of course starts. Mars enters Pisces, the moon enters Libra, and Venus makes a semi-sextile to Jupiter as well. So Mars entering Pisces can make us more passive aggressive and emotionally sensitive over the next 4 to 8 weeks. Mars is in Pisces, but on the positively, it supports us having more empathy towards ourselves and others and being more creative. The moon in Libra, gives the energy for us to find balance and cooperate with others and be more diplomatic and fair, but it can also make us indecisive and make us avoid conflict. And I said earlier that, sometimes we need to brave those storms and have those long conversations and the things that we don't want to do so we can get the things that we want, which is, happiness in our relationships and within ourselves. Venus's semi-sextile to Jupiter also supports the theme of love and abundance this week. It gives opportunities for growth in finances and relationships, so a lot of energy supporting us in overcoming our restrictions on the love and financial. So I'm not saying you're going to get money all at once, but maybe making a new budget, being open to saving more, or looking for ways to increase your income, or looking at ways how you can make your relationships more healthier and stuff like that. The best use of all these transits combined are to just use them to cooperate with yourself and others, to grow, to have more of a balanced approach to the way you talk to others and make decisions, and this will allow for productive communication, fair compromises, and if you're willing to compromise, things can be really great this week in both personal and professional matters. On the 24th of April there's a full moon, so check out the separate audio for that. Mercury makes its exact semi-sextile with Saturn, the moon enters via combustion, and Venus also enters Aries. So Mercury semi-sextile to Saturn can add to the communication difficulties I've already talked about this week, and some of us may find it hard to express ourselves today or over the next few days because of this aspect. But positively, it supports us in being more practical in our thinking, being disciplined, and having those serious discussions, which it seems like we can't avoid this week, and to plan for your future. When the moon's in via combustion, we can be more vulnerable, and this adds to the emotional intensity of the week. Negatively, it can increase mood swings and we can just be doubly sensitive, but it promotes us being more self-reflective and emotionally healing on the deepest levels. The best use of this energy is to face any issues that come up head on rather than running off. Venus also enters Aries, so this adds a fiery energy and passion to our relationships and the way we express our desires. Negatively, it can make us more impulsive and selfish, pushing over boundaries for the sake of it and just doing what we want in our relationships and being reckless. Positively encourages us being more assertive and taking charge of our own needs. The best use of this energy is to start new relationships, go after your goals with determination, but also make sure you take calculated risks as well. If you want to know more about Mars in Pisces and Venus in Aries, check out the separate audio. On the 25th of April, the moon enters void of course, Mercury goes stationary direct, and moon enters Scorpio. So Mercury going direct out of retrograde means that, you know, communication may become easier. We may find it easier to make decisions, especially if you've found these communication and making decisions challenging over the past couple of weeks. Mercury's been in retrograde. It can help us slowly move forward. Remember, Mercury retrograde is still in its shadow period for the next 2 to 3 weeks as well, so it's a gentle shift into smoother conversations. If you've been experiencing technology problems, then everything can be okay. Cognitive abilities can improve, and you can have increased mental focus over time. But negatively, you know, as I said, misunderstandings can still happen and confusion, so it's just best to double check information as well. The best use of this energy is to use it to, you know, finalise or continue important projects or contracts, make important decisions, go after any important meetings and other things you may have put off, and reconnect with others on a deeper level. The moon entering Scorpio supports us in our transformation and healing. Negatively can add to the power struggles of this swing, and we may, you know, just struggle with being jealous, possessive and obsessive as well. Secrets may come out and we may find it hard to, you know, accept them, but it also increases our intuition and the ability to uncover hidden truths. So some of the truths we uncover may not be what we really want to hear, but, you know, it's what we need right now. So the best use of this energy is to use it for sort of investigation, research, digging into your own personal and psychological and emotional issues, and, you know, seeking therapy, engaging in inner shadow work as well, so it's supporting all of that. On the 26th of April, Venus makes its exact parallel to Chiron, and I've already talked about this at the beginning of the week. The moon leaves dry combustor as well. On the 27th of April, the moon void of course starts. Venus makes a semi-sextile to Mars. The moon enters its disseminating moon phase, and the moon also enters Sagittarius. So negatively, Venus's semi-sextile to Mars can make it possible that conflicts can come up, because there may be a clash between our own needs and desires right now and other people's needs and desires, and this can cause problems in all matters of relationships. But it can just make us feel passionate and stimulate creative collaboration. So some of you may team up with others, whether it's on healing work or a business and stuff, and this can just help you solve problems or get to where you need to get to quicker. The disseminating moon phase can bring miscommunications as well, but it's beneficial energy for sharing knowledge and experiences with others, so it's supporting that Venus semi-sextile Mars energy as we close up the week. When the moon's in Sagittarius, it can add to the impulsive and overindulgence of the week, but it can just bring a sense of adventure and inner exploration, and just, you know, us just having the thirst for, you know, trying new things. The best use of these energies is to expand your knowledge, be open to honest communication and expanding, you know, your worldview and your horizons, and just, you know, pick apart that's new, as the stereophonic sang. So yeah, that was the weekly scopes from the 21st to the 27th of April. Take care.